All right, guys, welcome back to the Laydown Podcast, episode number 16. I'm, of course, joined by my co host, Lenny B. I am back from vacation. Lenny is still here as always, I
Yep,
guess,
still here.
with
Still,
his
I never
whiteboard.
left. Never went anywhere.
Um, and yeah, the NBA Finals have kicked off. The last time we were doing this, it was Heat Celtics entering Game 7. Now we know the Celtics are very much in the NBA Finals along with Golden State. Um,
Like
we're
we
just
said, by the way.
yeah. Well, we both said Boston would win Game 7.
Yeah.
Um, but we're gonna just kind of talk about the series so far. I'll give it to Lenny because you're the Warriors fan here. How do you feel so far about the series? Obviously, Boston's up 2-1 right now. Game 3 was yesterday. I was not able to see it because I was traveling almost all day. But I did see Game 1 and 2. I saw Game 1 in the hotel room, and I saw Game 2 at a bar. So,
Oh
yeah.
no, in the bar that must have been fun. Even though there are probably a lot of Lakers fans.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like not super optimistic, but I feel like there's still a total angle where we can win this whole thing. Right now, it just feels like the Celtics are just the better team. They're playing like the better team overall. They're playing better defense and they're playing better offense. Like that's just I don't think that's really arguable right now. Uh, Game 1 and Game 2 are both blowouts by the fourth quarter, either way, which is a little interesting. That's just weird, right? Like they both blew each other out.
They were. Here's the thing: the first game, Golden State was blowing them out through three
That
quarters,
too. That's interesting.
and
That's
then it
another thing.
completely switched. And by the end of the fourth quarter, but with like 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, it's like game over. Boston wins. It was like an 8-minute stretch where Boston completely dominated. And
Game
then in
three
game
was
two,
kind of
yeah,
like Game 3 was kind of like the inverse of a Game 1. The Celtics were leading they were leading for a lot of it. Warriors kind of barely almost came back, and then Celtics just buried them again. What I'm not confident in is anyone but Curry playing well. Like that is just I know Curry's going to play good. We've seen it. Everyone's seen it. I'm so tired of people saying he's not good in the finals. He's proving it
it's the
again.
dumbest
What
narrative
does he
in
need to
sports.
do? What does he need to do? He's averaging 31 points. I don't. What does he need to do? Anyway, it's just you have five starters. Just period. You're going to have five guys. You're going to get like 40, 50 minutes. Like for the Warriors, that's how they run things. And obviously you have a good bench. But anyway, you can't have someone who's getting as many minutes as Draymond Green right now, who's only scoring 5 points a game. That's just you're not going to win that way, dude. Like he's not even getting a lot of rebounds either. I don't remember what his exact stat line was, but it's not a lot. It's like I think 5 rebounds a game, 5 points a game, and like 3 assists a game. Anyway, for someone as vital as Draymond Green should be against a big team like what's his name? Oh God, sorry, I don't know the Celtics player. They just have a big team. That's what I need to say. They have a very big team, and for someone to be as inefficient as he is as a center, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. And Clay's been off and on just as well. Like he had a good game yesterday, and he was good, but that's not going to be enough at this point. Like you can't have Curry and then one other player playing good, and then the rest of the 3 other starters just not playing good. We just can't do it. On defense, we weren't even getting it done. Draymond, 2 games in this series now. Man, what a disappointment so far. Like, it's like sad almost. Like, we might have to bench him. Like, we're at that point where Kuminga might even have to start for him. And it's just like, how does that happen? Kevin Looney's been what I expected him to be, so I'm not, like, mad about it. He's just a good rebound guy. He's going to play some defense, and he'll get some layups, maybe like a dunk or something. I'm not expecting him to have a good efficiency. Like not efficiency, good scoring, like over 20 points a game. He's done about what I thought he would do.
7 and 8.
Yeah, he's been solid, but you can't have Draymond, Clay, and Wiggins. Wiggins has been like whatever, I guess, but that's 3 starters consistently playing not very good. Like that's 3 starters. I mean, how do you expect to win a series where the entire Boston, like even their bench feels like they can shoot at this point and play defense and get rebounds I mean, like, how can you expect to win a series that way? You just can't win a series that way. Someone other than Clay, or someone other than Curry, and two other starters have to show up on offense. It's as simple as that. And that hasn't happened since game two, and that hasn't happened game one and game three. It's just been Curry, and it's been one other player, and it hasn't been a third player. It's just been garbage. It's like really been garbage considering like what my expectations were for this team coming in.
Yeah, so I completely agree. It's the weirdest. The series honestly has been weird more than anything. Like
It has
instead
been
of
weird.
it's been competitive for sure, and I still think I picked Golden State to win in six. It's looking like if they win, it might be more likely it's seven. I'm gonna stick with the Warriors for now, but Game Four is a must win, and the Celtics
I agree.
they put them in a must win position in Game Two. They responded. They put them in a must-win position now in Game Four. We'll see how they respond. We'll be back doing another podcast right after Game Four, hopefully. So we'll get to you guys from there. But Steph Curry right now is averaging 33.9 points per
Oh,
75, 5.3 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals on with heaves filtered. So this is not including just heave shots that don't really affect games. 49% from the field, 50% from three, 83% from the free throw line, which is actually down from him. He's usually a 90% guy. 48% from two, 62% effective field goal percentage, which is plus 12.5, relative effective field goal percentage, and then 65 true shooting percentage, which is plus 12.2 relative true shooting percentage. So Steph Curry has been by a mile the best player in this series. It's not even been debatable.
it's not.
And
It's not even. Mm-mm.
really, this has been the story. This has been his best finals, but this has mostly been what's been happening outside of 2016 for his finals career. I'm just going to be honest, guys.
This is just more of like he doesn't
He's
have around him anymore, and he's an outlier now instead
it's
of just
but
he's in the
this is
mix.
he's played better in this series than I think I've seen in any other one
I
that
know
he's in the
that is
finals.
true. I think that's generally true. I just kind of mean like I think he's
Because
always been this level of good
no,
generally,
no, no.
but he's always
But
had to share the
he has
ball
been
and
for 10
you know.
years. I'm just saying, like, usually what happens to Steph Curry is his scoring stats will get a little bit better and his efficiency will get a little bit worse. And that's usually what happens in the finals. Jordan's efficiency got worse in the finals too, by the way. No one talks about it.
Yeah,
Same
against a
with
good
Kobe,
Celtics
same
defense
with
too, a great
Bird.
Celtics defense.
Yeah. I mean, you got to adjust for defense. That's why I throw in the relative stats there. Also, people, please stop using field goal percentage as like measures of efficiency. It's relative effective field goal percentage or just effective field goal percentage for shooting efficiency and then true shooting percentage for scoring efficiency. But here's the weird thing about this series. Jason Tatum is shooting 34 again field goal percentage, but still 34% from the field. He's shooting 44% from 3. So he's been extremely inefficient
That's weird.
as a scorer, but from 3 he's been very good. He's shooting 44%. I
That
don't
is
know
weird.
which of those is like it feels like either Tatum's going to really heat up or Tatum's going to cool down from 3 and he'll just become kind of a bad player offensively. I don't know which it'll be. But Jaylen Brown has been, I think, the better player. He's averaging more points right now, and I just feel he's had bigger impact on these games. He had a huge impact on at the end of Game One. He was very good to start Game Two, and then he just had probably his best Game Three. But yeah, I agree with you. Like Golden State needs someone else to step up. Klay Thompson had a good Game 3, I'd say, but still, he's still
He was good, but he
he
wasn't
was
like
all right.
anything crazy.
It wasn't prime Clay.
No.
That'll come Game 6, hopefully.
If we
But
even get that far.
but he was very he was good. I won't even say very good. Draymond Green has been a disgrace. Outside of Game
Yes,
Two,
I agree.
he's been borderline unplayable. He's averaging currently 5 points on 26% from the field.
I didn't even see that
He's
stat.
basically he's basically making just over one of every four shots, which considering the shot difficulty is putrid.
I know he's usually like trying to get a layup or trying to do a dunk.
He's
I mean, like
attempted
that's
seven
yeah,
threes so far, hasn't made a single one.
7. Oh my god.
6.7. He's still had his effect on defense, although he kind of got torched in that last game. On the boards as a passer, he's still their playmaker right behind Curry there. So he's been effective in those ways, but other than that, he has been on like as an offensive player, he's been unplayable in this series. Seriously, I think they should give Gary Payton more minutes. I think
I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that, man.
just
Gary Payton has been
the way
great.
Boston's shooting the ball right now, they're shooting 43% from three. I think Gary Payton would nullify that. And the thing is, Golden State's shooting 40%, but that's only because Curry is shooting 49%, 50% when
He's
Phil.
definitely carrying that stat line. Like he is
Poole's
the
shooting
ball handler.
39%, which is about a season average. Clay's shooting 32%. Wiggins is shooting 31%. And Wiggins has been decent, but he's still shooting 31%. Draymond's 0 of 7. So like nobody no I'm when I say nobody's really contributed outside of Steph, that's kind of been the case. In game 1 it was Wiggins and Steph. In game 2 it was Steph and Draymond had his usual not score much but contribute in other ways, and then Poole. And then in game 3 it was Steph and Clay. But it's only been Steph on this team that's been consistent. Whereas with Boston, Al Horford's been good for 2 of the 3 games. Derek White's been very good, I think, even though his
Derek
statistics.
White's very much surprised me in this series. He's been
Um,
like a person came out of nowhere.
Marcus Smart's been good offensively, surprisingly shaky defensively for a guy that just won Defensive Player of the Year. You would have expected him to at least hold Steph Curry to his averages. He's actually playing above this season statistically. Um, Jason Tatum's been still good, I would say. He hasn't been great, but and Jaylen Brown's been very good. So it feels like the Boston guys have just been so much more consistent. Even Grant Williams has been, impacting the game in other ways, even though he hasn't played a ton. But I think the big thing for the Warriors in the series again is just getting that second guy more consistently. Like I think Clay's going to have another good game, probably a better game than he had game 3. But will that be enough? And what is concerning me as a guy that picked Golden State is Steph Curry is playing even better than I thought he was than I thought he would have played, and they're still losing 2-1. Like
Hmm.
Steph Curry's worst game was the one they won. They've wasted 2 really good Steph Curry games just with poor fourth quarters. Boston has owned the fourth quarters of these games. The Golden State has owned the third quarters, but Boston is complete. Like Boston won game 3. I think the fourth quarter was what? What was the line score? It was 23-11 Boston. Game 1 was, let me check real quick, 40-16 Boston. I knew it was a big, but
Ugh.
that's
Ugh.
a 63-27 score. That's crazy, Lenny. Like
I
that
know
can't.
that is bad. that is that's like a wasn't it an all time thing for Boston? It was like an
Yeah,
all
I think
time
there
biggest
was
thing in the
some.
finals.
I think there was a record broken.
Yeah, no, that was just ridiculous, man. I totally agree, though. I don't know if it's a conditioning thing. I don't know if it's like we've been here before. We think we already won the game because we've done it, we've done that. Like a mixture of maybe the younger guys, maybe not getting it as much. I don't know what it is. They got to figure it out though. I trust Steve Kerr will figure something out. I don't think it's going to be another like blowout from here on out. But it's
I
concerning.
wouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised if Golden State puts it on them a little bit in Game 4.
I think
And
they
then
should get
I think from there it'll just kind of be close game after close game because usually game 5, 6, and 7 those are the close games. Whereas the first 4 games it's either the way better team wins or it's 2 really good teams kind of find
trading off.
ways to beat each other up.
I think they should get Kuminga involved a little bit. Just even if it's only like 5-10 minutes, I think that his athletic ability involved with just how big he is. We got dominated in the paint this in game three. Like Draymond couldn't do anything. Looney was getting tossed around a little bit.
It's been
And
Robert Williams has been such a big thing for
yeah,
him, even though
I,
he's like 70% of what he is when healthy.
I just
He
think
was and he controlled that game three from what I've seen.
I just think Kuminga would help in that aspect of just like setting the tone a little bit. It doesn't have to play the whole game, obviously. I'm not asking like he's what 19 years old at this point. He's a year younger than you are. I think. Anyway, I'm not
Year
asking him to
older.
like play a bunch of minutes, but I do think it would help. I do think it would honestly help the team. I mean, this is a very tall, big team, and it's as simple as he's just a very tall, big player, and he's athletic, and he's just going to help in the paint. I think. I just think defensively too, he's going to help a little bit. I maybe not like a huge opinion. Like I don't think it's going to sway the game either way, but I think
It's
it would
been
help.
the to me, it's been the shooting of Boston that's been so good, is what's been a little bit surprising to me. Because Golden State was a very good defense. They had the number one defensive rating in basketball for a reason. But Boston has been, I mean, they're shooting 43% from three.
Yeah.
And like Al Horford shooting 70%. I'm not sure. It feels like Golden State needs to do more. It's kind of like the Milwaukee issue, where I just feel like Golden State could be doing more to gives these guys less space, because it feels like Boston's shooters have had a lot of space, especially at the end of that game one. That's kind of how I feel about it. I think. Look, I'm sticking with Golden State. I think you're sticking with Golden State. I've
For
I've
now I
seen
am.
some things that have discouraged me, but I've also seen some things that I'm like I feel good about. I'm not surprised if Boston wins. Obviously, I mean Boston's a very good team in their own right. Once Middleton went down, I kind of felt they'd go to the finals, but I would think, and Kerr. The other thing is, I think Steve Kerr is benching Steph too much, in at times in these games. And look, I love Steve Kerr. I love what he stands for. I think he's a top 10 coach ever. I think he's a top 3 coach today. But I don't know why he seems so just reluctant to play these guys so much. It's the NBA Finals. Like, it's the last series of the
Yeah,
season
like what are you
before
saving
you
him
get four
for? What are
months
you
off.
saving
Like,
him
you're not
for?
you're not saving him for anything. Play
I,
Clay 38, 40 minutes. Play Steph 41 minutes. Come on.
I
Like,
think it's
I
also
know
funny.
Steph got hurt. I'm assuming he'll be fine. It didn't look that bad from the replay.
No, it didn't look that bad, but I think it's also funny that Curry is like notoriously like a player that is super well conditioned. Like they always talk about it on the on the announcers. Like they're always like, "Oh, he's so well conditioned." Steph is one of the best, most hardworking players in the NBA, and he's still like sitting like longer than I feel like he should. I totally agree with that.
So, yeah, here's the thing. In the regular season, Golden State was tied with Miami and Boston for the least lowest 3-point percentage allowed, at 33.9%. So they were really good at defending the 3-point shot. And so far in these finals, Boston has shot 43.4%. So they've shot nearly 10% above what the Warriors have allowed. And the Warriors themselves have been shooting a good percentage, but again, it's only been Steph that has been shooting, and Steph has shot above actually his averages. But the other guy, like Clay, I think shooting 30% from three. It's just not. It's a basketball is a game of runs, and I think the Celtics have kind of commanded that when it comes to those fourth quarter runs. They've seemed to have been able to survive the Warriors' third quarter onslaughts. That game two just got away from them, in my opinion. But game 1 and 3, they were able to stay competitive enough to where the run ended up not being enough of a margin to where Boston controls the fourth quarter, and they just they escape with the wins. I don't know if it's a conditioning thing or what, but yeah, the fourth quarter has just been super weird in this series.
Maybe that means getting some, like I can say, Kaminga, give him more minutes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that means giving
Maybe
Gary
Bielitsa
Payton
should
more
play.
minutes. Maybe
Because
I would be cool with that too.
he's a big guy. He's shown he can get rebounds. And yeah, I mean, just to mitigate the size advantages that Horford and Williams present, even Tice, I think, has been um, decent for them at times in the playoffs. He hasn't really played much this series.
Yeah, I mean, dude, what was it? Grant Williams blocked like every shot last game. I know you didn't watch, but it felt like I would say like an eighth of the shots that could have been points were blocked by Grant Williams. That's what it felt like. It probably wasn't
Grant or
that bad.
Robert?
But it is very apparent the size difference just between the Warriors and the Celtics. But I think we're giving a little too much like Warriors suck right now and Celtics
That's
just
not
like
what
kind
I'm
of
trying to
going
say.
around.
Um,
But no, I know. I think we should start talking about how good the Celtics have been because they've been really good. Like
oh
they've
no,
been
Boston
legitimately
has
very
been
good.
legitimately, I think, like they've looked for a team that's played 2 7 game series. They look surprisingly better conditioned. They look surprised. They're shooting a great percentage from three. They're playing tough defense. They're wearing these guys out. Steph has taken over so many fourth quarters in this in the playoffs. It's he hasn't in these fourth quarters, and I think part of that's just been how tiring the Celtics have been, and the Celtics' resilience themselves offensively in the fourth quarters have been impressive. I think overall the Celtics match up really well with Golden State,
You said that
just
going in.
defensively and offensively between size and perimeter defense. So, like I'm impressed with what Boston has been able to do, but the reason I may not sound too impressed is because I'm not exactly surprised at what's happening. I'm just like I don't like
The results
if
are
that makes
different than
sense.
we'd think. I to agree. Like what we thought was going to happen has, I think, generally happened in terms of like the steps there, but the results have been wildly different than what I would have thought. I just think they've been
I
like
don't even
Jason
think.
Tatum. I
I
don't know.
mean, based
It's hard
on
to
like
say.
how the players have played, yeah. If you would have told me Jason Tatum's going to shoot 34% and
That's what I
Boston's going
mean.
to have had a 2-1 lead, then yeah, I'd be surprised. But like if you were just to tell me, oh, Boston's going to be up 2-1, I'd be like, okay. Like I'm not overly surprised at how they've won these games. I'm a little surprised that they're shooting so well, but um, yeah, I mean, look, there's a reason the Celtics are in the NBA Finals. It's because they're one of the two best teams in basketball, and they're showing it. They're showing
They
to be
might. I mean,
this.
with Chris Middleton, like considering, I'm just throwing this out there. I think they probably might have even won that series even with Chris Middleton. Just seeing how
Yeah,
good they are
I
right
mean,
now,
well,
I think that's a totally good chance.
and they're that doesn't. I mean, they're in the finals anyway, so
Yeah, they're in the finals anyway. So like, who cares at this point?
I think. What do you think? So it's tough. Who
It
do you
is.
think? Do you think Poole should play over Clay? Because Clay
I
has
don't
been
think Poole
Clay has
hasn't been very good either at this point. To be fair,
been
uh,
true.
there's two things I account for this. When I thought about this, I thought about with Draymond. I think the thought process goes the same. Number one, you lose that leadership aspect, as in it's like, oh man, he just got benched. Like our guy, like this is the guy who's been here for so long. But for the especially for the core, you're gonna feel a little bit like ooh, like a little ooh, you know what I mean? Number two, the upside, I think that's like the only real downside to that at this point. Like if Clay's going to play the way he's been playing, that's the downside. And number two, like the upside, Jordan Poole he just seems more willing to. I have more faith in him being consistent. I just have more faith at this point. It's hard to trust Clay at this point. He's been like this, I think, a lot of the playoffs.
Lenny,
I
you
think he's
sound
just.
so sad to say that, man.
I know it's sad. I love Clay, man. I love Clay. I don't want to say that, and I feel the same way about Draymond. I don't want to say that, but it just kind of feels that way at this point. It just feels like the Splash Brothers might not be the Splash Brothers anymore, and it's sad. I thought I thought going into this, like even playoffs, this might be the last time we see this trio together, and it looks like they're falling apart right in front of my eyes before the playoffs were even over. So I was a little bit sad. I'm definitely going to say that. Um, I do think Poole should get more minutes over Clay, though. I think that should happen. even if it's just minimal and it starts gradually getting up. I think something needs to change at this point. I don't think the same minutes for Clay is going to work at this point. He's just proven to me throughout this whole playoffs that he's just not what we used to be
He's not
anymore.
2017 Clay
No,
anymore.
he's not, and he's not bad. He should be benched. I don't think he should be benched, but I do think that Poole should at least get a little bit more opportunities. I will say this though, Poole and Clay both share the same similarities of just being really annoying on shot selection. Like they'll take the stupidest like contested shots I've ever
I
seen.
know
Like they
Clay. I don't know why Clay. I don't know why he takes so many huge like off the dribble 3-point shot. It makes no sense because
yes,
that's
it annoys me
like
at this point. He didn't
it,
used to be like that. He really didn't.
like
I don't know what happened this year.
he was better at those. Is my point.
That's
Like
true. That is true. He was better at it.
um, if you're trying to break out of that slump, wouldn't you try to just take the easy shots, take what the defense gives you, kind of like a quarterback. Take what the defense gives you, slowly gain some momentum, gain some rhythm, then maybe try and take some deep shots. It's kind of the same in the NBA. You take the high percentage shots and then you slowly move out and out. Um, like I don't know why Clay is trying to take so many difficult shots.
I think it's partly like you said. That's just how he used to play. That's how he's used to playing his whole life. That's just like a thing. Like it's a habit at this point. Like that's just how he like feels it out. Like, oh, I got to take the shot. Number two, I do think there's pressure on him at this point. He's been getting a lot of heat. Like he's been getting a lot of heat from everybody. The media, social media has been all over him.
Yeah.
I think his team is probably pressuring him too. Steve Kerr's probably like, man, you're Klay Thompson. Like, what's going on, man? Like, you're Klay Thompson. We're How many minutes is he averaging? Like 35, 40?
I mean, he's certainly up in the 30s. With Kerr, it's probably lower, but
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
Anyway, like my point is like Clay's got to figure something out where he can't just be taking all these shots unless he knows he can hit them, which I know he can't hit them at this point. And Jordan Poole is similar, but I feel I hate saying this. I
Yeah,
hate
he's
saying this,
averaging
but
36
Poole is
points.
gonna be better at hitting those contested shots than Clay at this point. I hate saying that so much. It like pains me. Uh, they got to figure something out though. Someone's like we said to summarize basically our whole point on offense. They got to figure out one guy or someone who's going to be consistently helping Curry just score. That's all we need at this point. We just need someone else who's going to score, and we
To
haven't
me,
found that since game two,
the
man.
defensive adjustments that they have to make too are interesting because again, they are allowing just Boston to rain threes on them,
Yeah,
and I do think they will. And look, I don't think that Boston is going to necessarily maintain shooting 43% from three, but I also don't think like that Golden State can just let them keep doing what they're doing. I think maybe Otto Porter should play more because I've seen a lot from him in this series too.
yeah, I'm not opposed to that.
And
I
again,
yeah,
Peyton, he's now back. So
I just feel like something's got to change in the rotations. I'm not exactly sure, but I think something's got to change because this lineup just isn't getting it done right now. It just you can feel it. You can feel it's not the right lineup. It's not the right matchups for us, and I don't know. You want to talk about how Jason Tatum thinks he's Kobe real quick? I mean, like, this is
I'm
just a
not.
moment.
I don't really care about that.
You don't really care? Okay. Well, I
I
care
mean,
a
like
little bit. I
I
care a
just think
small amount. I just think it's funny.
I think it's a media thing. Like he said he was a Kobe fan growing up, which is whatever. But I mean, the whole text thing. I don't even know if he actually sent that text. But I just think the media is looking for an opportunity to profit off of Kobe being a big name and Tatum being a
Oh,
big
I
name.
didn't even think
For being,
about that.
there's
Oh
just
yeah.
a connection between them, and they're trying to turn the actual NBA finals from you know Celtics Warriors to these side stories that really have nothing to do with the actual teams, and that's what the media does, and I get it, but it's whatever to me. I don't really think about that stuff. They're
That's
doing
a
the
good
same.
take. No.
They're
That's the
doing the
best take I've heard about that. That's the best take I've heard about it. Like hands down, that's the best take. No, I totally agree.
they're doing the same with you guys too with the Durant stuff.
Oh
Like,
yeah, Kevin Durant on Twitter. I
oh,
know
Steph
Draymond. Yeah.
Curry or Kevin Durant all the time. It's these kind of talks, man. If I and, I've, and I've, I'm pissed if I'm on both sides. Like if I'm the Warriors, I'm like we literally made the finals for the third time in 8 years without Durant. For the like like and we're playing a team like we're playing in the finals, and you're trying to distract everyone
The
from this.
team that swept him and his team and his super
It's not
team
even about
too.
that though. They're just trying to distract from what's actually going on. And if I'm Durant, I'm like, hey, I averaged 35 a game in the finals. I won 2 Finals MVPs, and you're just disrespecting me like that. I'm pissed if I'm on both sides.
Yeah, they're
Um,
lighting fires either way. Yeah, no,
so
I totally agree. I'm totally gonna
I
change
don't
my
know. I don't
mindset on
like.
all
I
that.
don't like how the media is I think because I think this is an awesome series, and I really don't like how the media has gone about this. But that's how I feel.
No, I was gonna add stupid stuff, but that's totally true. To change my stance on that, I just thought it was funny because I'm like a person who just finds humor in a lot of things. But this is just kind of annoying. I could see that's just kind of lame, and I don't really think it's funny anymore hearing that because I mean it makes sense.
Lenny, they did the same thing with Devin Booker last year.
They totally. Oh man, they did do
College
that. I
Booker
didn't even think
next
about
Kobe.
it.
Like they're gonna keep doing this with whatever player that grew up a Kobe fan and is plays like him, as a cool mid range jumper and fadeaway, loves taking 19 footers. They're just gonna keep doing that. It's gonna be annoying.
All
Whichever
right,
player plays hard defense. So
I think to end this, I think we should talk about potential end scenarios here. I think we should just
so
talk
what
about
what
trajectory, what we're thinking.
as
So, like,
in
let's
like
just say,
if Boston wins versus if Golden State wins, like what are
yeah,
the
and like,
potential?
let's just say this is the thing I was going through my brain. Boston wins a series. Let's just say it's out of 7 or 6 because I think that's generally how far it's going to go. And Jaylen Brown wins Finals MVP. What do we say about Jason Tatum at that point? I find it hard to believe that the Celtics will probably make it back in a
See,
timely manner, but I mean that
here's the
seems like it would be
problem though.
something.
Like it's kind of like the Curry thing in 2015. I'd have to see how the series goes, because right
That's fair.
now,
That's
if
fair.
right now it would affect him in not necessarily a great way, because Jaylen Brown has just flatly been better than him. That's the thing. Um, but if it's like if Tatum plays better than Brown and Brown still wins Finals MVP in these last couple games, then I don't think it really hurts him as much from my
Mhm.
perspective. Now the media, since now with Steph now winning one, they love these Finals MVPs now. If you don't have one, you might as well just retire from playing the sport. Um, that's what the media has been saying. But
Barry
from my
McCarthy.
perspective, it won't hurt him if Tatum plays well and leads them and helps lead them to a title. It's not going to hurt him, in my opinion. Maybe a little bit, but that's it.
Okay, I agree with that, but let's
I
just
think the bigger story is just Boston, because this is a Celtics franchise that was absolutely dominant in the 1960s and the 70s and the 80s, and has won one title in 35 years. They have not made it to the finals since 2010 before the season.
anything is possible. Anyway,
And now they're back in the finals, and if they're able to win, I think Tatum adds himself into Celtics lore with Russell and Havlicek and Bird and Pierce. So
do you think if they win this series, this is potential, not dynasty, but we're thinking maybe another finals appearance?
I feel like we do this with every.
I'm just asking because I just wanted to know. I just want to know your opinion.
um,
You know more
no, would
about
it
this stuff than I
shock
do.
me if they made another finals with this core? No. What do I think it's guaranteed? No, because I still think Milwaukee with Middleton is just as good. I mean, they took him to 7
Yeah,
without him.
that's true. That's true.
And Philly's got moves to make. Miami's got a move to make. Probably Brooklyn. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, they could happen, but it's far from a guarantee, in my opinion.
All right.
I think this is their best. I'll say this is their best shot.
In the foreseeable future, for like
Yeah.
this core foreseeable future. Yeah, I agree. The East is just going to be a
For the
bloodbath next
Tatum
couple of years.
Brown Smart, because think about it, 5 months ago we weren't even sure if this like Tatum Brown duo was gonna last. But the
That's true. We
Tatum
were
Brown
thinking about
Smart
that.
duo or trio, I think that is one that I think they have really changed their stock over the last couple months with just how well they've played. I'm really impressed with Marcus Smart and how he's kind of matured as a player. He still has a little bit of idiocy in him, but he he takes nowhere near as many bad shots. And I think at one point he did quietly think to himself, "I'm the best player on the team," even though Tatum and Brown were always better. But I don't think he thinks that anymore. I think he's clearly matured as a player, and it's been good to see because when he just plays the way he's been playing, he's a very good basketball player.
Hmm. I agree with that mostly. Uh, I guess the last thing. This is a quick
If
thing because
Golden
I don't.
State
I think we
wins,
feel. I know. I think we feel both the same way about this. Steph is like. I feel like there's no real unless Steph just plays awful the next couple games
there,
and we win.
Lenny.
Like I don't think there's a chance
If
that he
Steph
doesn't win
plays
Finals
awful
MVP.
the next couple of games, you're losing. Like there's zero. You
Okay,
you
that's
don't have
fair. No,
Kevin.
that's
You don't,
fair. That's totally fair.
and that would affect his legacy. But I'm just saying, like, if you guys win, Steph wins Finals MVP. He's been so
Yes.
much better than every other player, especially on Golden State. He's been better than Jalen Brown, but he's been so much better than everybody on Golden State that it's like like there's literally not going to be enough. Plus, there's the whole media
that
thing now too.
that
So,
wasn't really my question. But yes, that you were right. You were. I would. That's why I wasn't going to ask about the Finals MVP. But anyway, what do we think about the core going forward at that point? That's what I was going to
oh,
ask. Like
interesting.
just generally because obviously the mix of new and young and old players,
I just think
you're going to
they
start to see the transition to
probably
the young.
they probably move Wiggins. They probably promote, give Kaminga and Poole more minutes, and then they just kind of go from there.
Poole's contract's going to be iffy. I feel like he's going to get overpaid.
I think they're more likely. I think they'll keep Poole over Wiggins. He's four
No,
years
they
younger.
will. They will. They will keep Poole over Wiggins. Do you think they
But
have a
like
chance with this core to do anything?
in
I
the
mean, I know
future,
it's late. I
I,
know
I
it's
think
early.
I
I know
think
it's super
I think
early,
they're
but
more likely to be back here than Boston is. I'll say that.
fair enough. They got
Um,
plenty of young players.
it's the hypnotic championship mindset of Steph, Clay, and Draymond is still there. They've still got Steve Kerr, and again, they've got this. They've got just this young team behind them. Um, like they're not as unbeatable as they felt with Durant, or even the couple years before he came, but they're still a really damn good team. So I don't know. We'll see what goes on, but I feel better about them than I do Boston moving forward.
Do you remember the? I just remember that it just popped out of my brain, literally out of nowhere. I haven't thought about this since like the beginning of the playoffs, but do you remember the rumors about Ben Simmons getting moved to the Warriors for Draymond or something like
That
that? It
was
was like a
last year. I remember that.
That I just remember that. I'm like, man, imagine if we had him right now. That would be not probably very good. I just I thought that
Ben
was funny.
Simmons is literally do they even need a They have Draymond for that.
I know those
They have
rumors
a
are
less
weird.
efficient
I
Ben
always thought they were
Simmons,
weird. I was
but
like,
a way better leader.
it's weird. Yeah. Anyway, I think we can wrap it up there.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Uh, leave in the comments who do you think is going to win the series? Because I honestly think for a lot of people it's really 50-50. I've seen since the beginning of the series 50-50 on who people are picking. Maybe a little bit of an edge towards Golden State before the series, but now I think it might have been a little bit of an edge to Boston based on how these games have gone. So
You think
thank
Golden
you.
State in six still or seven?
I'm going to stick with 6 just out of the sake of sticking with it, but like realistically, if they win, it'll probably be 7.
I got seven right now for
Did you
Golden
pick
State.
7 before the?
I did pick seven for before the
Okay.
game. So
All right. All right, guys. Thank you for watching, and God bless.